What's up, guys? Welcome back again to your Heroclix headquarters. Today we're going to start off our full set review of Deadpool Weapon X, and you guys might notice I'm going to try to do things a little bit differently this time, so I'd love to hear your opinions about it in the comments. Let me know if you like this better or if I should go back to the old way. But essentially, these sets are just coming out so fast, I don't really have time to be doing like 7 different parts of a set review every time. So I'm going to try to speed it up, squish them all together. Today we're doing the commons, uncommons, and rares, kind of thinking more for pulp, really, but also some of the figures are just really good outside of pulp as well. And, you have some primes there that can't even be in pulp, so it won't be only pulp, but kind of more thinking that way. And then the next part, we're going to do the super rares, chases, and extra stuff. But I really want these to all be quicker and more condensed, so without further ado, let's get right into it. Let's start off with number 1, the common Wolverine. Now, I really like this figure. I like that he has that potential extra damage just for, hitting with blades. He doesn't have to hit the adjacent character, but he can deal half the blades damage to them. It's really, really good. Charge, 12 attack, 18 toughness, perplex. For 50 points, he is not bad at all. I think he's maybe like the power common of the set. I really like him a lot, and he's done really well for me in sealed. Next up, we have the common Deadpool, number 2. To be completely honest, I feel like they kind of missed the mark with the Deadpools in this set. There's a lot of really great Wolverines, even just in the commons, uncommons, and stuff. Not to mention chases, but the Deadpools just kind of feel lackluster to me. This one does have traded regen and like 7 clicks of life, so not horrible, but 70 points is quite a lot nowadays, just for charge, blade, super senses, and exploit. So yeah, I mean, he does have team player as well, so I've seen worse, but he doesn't have any range either, which for a Deadpool feels kind of weird. So I feel like he could be better, but moving on, next up we have another Wolverine at number 3. He's got a trait where you can roll and get different effects, and if you get a 6, you can choose any number of other results, so you can get like all of them, which is pretty freaking awesome. Again, 70 points feels a bit much, but he does have a 12 attack this time to start with, which is pretty nice. However, he does fall to a 15 defense with just some invincible on the back end, so hopefully you can hit with his 10 attack on that steel energy on those last couple clicks, or you roll the regen as free or the 6 to choose any of them to be able to heal him back up. So I like him, but I don't like him as much as the number 1 Wolverine. Next up, we have Lady Mastermind. Not much to say here. She doesn't do anything really special. 40 points isn't horrible, but she just has 6 clicks with 6 range, mind control, precision strike. Again, not horrible, but just not really interesting at all. Next up, we have Black Widow, who I actually really like for 25 points, but her Hotshots trait, the Best Avenger, is kind of funny because to me it's kind of the worst of the Hotshots traits, just that all of them have free remove a Hotshots token to generate a smoke terrain in their square, which is pretty good for her since she has full dial stealth. Some of them have full dial stealth, but there's just like better things you can do with those Hotshots tokens, which we'll see later on. But yeah, I mean, 25 points. She's got 4 range triple target, 11 attack in cap, not bad. 18 combat reflexes, 3 damage with exploit, so she can definitely do some damage. I want to give her a motorcycle. That would bump her up to like 40 points, but giving her charge plus 2 speed and super senses would be pretty great. With the exploit and everything, give her more defense. So yeah, not a bad, budget Black Widow. Next up, we have Diamondback. For 45 points, she's pretty nuts for a common figure. She has another Hotshots trait that gives them all free remove a Hotshots token to use improved targeting destroys blocking this turn, which is actually really good. And she has that herself anyway. So yeah, pretty insane. Just running shot, 5 range, 12 attack, energy explosion through walls for 45 points. I'll take it. That is a steal. She'll be doing some massive damage. Next up, we have Iceman for only 30 points. This guy is also pretty nuts. He's got unique modifier for all of your other friendly characters. If they can't use special powers, they modify attack +1. Special powers is just the white square special powers, so they can have a trait and still get the +1. So basically, like Diamondback, we just took a look at, Black Widow, no special powers. Lady Mastermind, no special powers. I mean, heck, even Wolverine, pretty much all the commons, I think, so far, no special powers. So he's really good in pulp because there's a lot of characters like that that just don't have any white box special powers. And so he's essentially like a budget white shirt Scott Porter, just map wide +1 attack for all those characters. And I do believe, since it just says that can't use special powers, means that, if they don't have it currently showing on their dial, you know, maybe they have one later, but if they don't have it right now to use, then they'd still get the +1, which is pretty nice. And he has pretty good stats for 30 points. 5 range, triple target, running shot, 11 attack, in cap, and 3 damage. You know, some enhancement as well. And then he does go to some sidestep, pulse wave, and regen and support on the back half. So he's either healing himself or healing a friendly if they don't finish him off. Yeah, 30 points. That Iceman is great. I think we're going to see a good deal of him in Pulp. And then we have Cannonball for 55 points. I just wish he was a nice round 50 points, but 55 is not bad. He does have traded defend, Force Blast. Force Blast is free, but only if you move this turn, which is pretty crazy because you can literally just full move and then knock somebody back into a wall. If you are targeting somebody that is already next to a wall or a square of blocking, you could charge on them, right? He could hit, you know, 11 attack for 3 damage, knock them back because he has Force Blast that just gives you knockback. And then he can Force Blast as free since he moved this turn to knock them back again. So he can potentially, you know, if the stars align there, he can deal like 5 damage a turn. And just having a 19 defense with traded defend is nuts as well. And that improved movement characters is great to just, you know, move around. He can charge in there and then charge on somebody else, not having to break away. Super duper good. So yeah, I like him a lot. He is a really, really strong common figure as well. Next up, we have Rictor, 60 points. Quake, when he uses it, he deals 3 damage instead of 2. Not bad at all. Improved movement, destroys blocking's great. But for 60 points, his dial is not too great. He just has a lot of support powers to start with, like TK and Barrier. Get some, you know, better attacking powers later. Again, I kind of want to give him a motorcycle because I feel like he could really use the charge to make use of that Quake and, you know, busting through blocking and everything. But that bumps him up to 75 points, which is like, there's maybe better figures again. But, you know, he does some interesting stuff, so it's not too bad. He can be a pretty good attacker if you put the bike on him. But next up, we have Copycat, 40 points. I mean, there's a lot of like 11 and 12 attacks in this set already. You know, Iceman could bump her up to an 11. But really, just that 10 attack is like, oof. There's so many high attacks in this set, it kind of stands out. Traded shape changed and sidestep, and when she uses shape change, she can use one of the standard powers they have until she chooses again. Not too bad, so you can get, you know, maybe some cool powers out of it. But again, I feel like she needs like a bike for like running shot or charge or something. She's kind of just sitting there in stealth. I don't know. She's kind of just one of those characters that really relies on her shape change to go off so she can actually do some cool stuff. Otherwise, she's not doing a whole lot. But next up, we got Jeff, the freaking Landshark, who has the ability to make pizza objects for free. He's also got shape change, and Force Blast is free, but only if he's in water, and he can knock back larger characters, which is actually the key word there is just larger characters. Normally, you can't knock back characters larger than yourself, but if they're a single base character, because you can't knock back multi-bases, even if they're giant or colossal, he can still knock them back just because he can knock back larger characters. So that's pretty freaking hilarious in my opinion. But yeah, otherwise, you know, swim ability, sidestep blades, toughness, that shape change special, 25 points, tiny size, not bad. So you can basically just carry him around because he's tiny, plop him in water train to get a free Force Blast on someone, and also take a free action to make pizza objects, so you can, you know, eat those up and get that free healing effect there. So yeah, 25 points, Jeff is great, and I love the fact that one of the chases actually makes him for free. That's really nice too. Sunspot, coming in at 80 or 45 points. Gotta love running shot pulse wave. And that outwit is nice as well. And he's got senses with traded energy shield and toughness, so he's pretty well defended. I think he's pretty good at 80 points as far as like a pulp figure goes. For 45, if you need a cheap leadership, he's not bad. Just charge, poison, leadership, willpower. Nothing too crazy there, but I prefer the 80 points if you can spend it on him. Next up, we have Multiple Man, which you're going to want multiples of. 10 points only for some Empower is never a bad thing. He also has Sidestep to move around, and his trait, free. If he began your turn on the map, roll a d6. On a 4 through 6, you can generate one of him from your KO area. So note that they do have to already be KO'd, so you want to probably play a couple of him at least, which, I mean, it's not hard to do. He's only 10 points. So yeah, just spamming those guys out, get a bunch of Empowers around, and then they can bring each other back from the KO area. Pretty great for 10 points. Next up, Hydra Agent for only 15 points, does something kind of similar. He does have Hydra and Masters of Evil team ability, which is pretty great. So you get You know, that opposing characters get -1 thing for close and range attacks, basically. For only 15 points, that's practically worth it by itself. But he also has Charge Blades, Combat Reflexes, and this awesome trait that when him or another friendly character with the Hydra keyword are KO'd, after resolutions, you can roll on a 4 or 6, you can generate up to 2 characters named Hydra Agent of 15 points or less. So yeah, this guy, I think there's also in the Avengers Forever set, there's a 15-point Hydra Agent. So pretty awesome effect there to just spam out a bunch of agents. Next up, Deadpool Robot, who I actually like this one. I think this might be my favorite Deadpool of like the commons and uncommons. He has 75 points, but he has a pretty long dial there, pretty high stats. Lots of, like every other click, he can heal either by steal energy or regen. And, you know, the other clicks, he's really strong in combat. So I actually like this one. Pretty interesting. I do kind of wish he was less points as well, but it is what it is. He's not bad. And then, last but not least for the commons, we have the most broken figure in the entire set, Timebreaker. Yeah, just a free action to make more of him. He is autonomous, which means his actions won't count against your action total. He's tiny size, so you can carry him around if you want to. But yeah, they're only 5 points, and they have the ability to make another one of themselves, and then they have this broken ability that as a power action, which again doesn't count towards your action totals for the turn. Says choose an adjacent character, place that character up to X squares away from their current square, where X is equal to the number of these Timebreakers or the bystander Timebreakers that are adjacent to that character. The bystander you can unfortunately only get in the chase boosters, it seems. And those things are already going for like a crazy amount of money because of how ridiculously good they are. Because they're 25 points, don't break theme, because they're a bystander. And at the beginning of the game, you get 2 of these things. And then, you know, they can free make another one. So it's pretty stupid. And then, you know, once you accumulate a few of these, even if you just have 3 or 4 of them, you know, one takes a power action to place them up a few squares. You can sidestep them all up, have another one take a power action to place your character further away. So that utility is just so amazing. It's just place that character X squares away from their current square. So they can actually place like through walls, you know, on elevated, like they don't need line of fire or anything. It's super ridiculous. You're definitely going to see a lot of the Timebreakers, not just in Pulp. They're going to be heavily used in competitive play. Get as many of these little cockroach dudes as you can. I have 6 of them myself at the moment, and yeah, that's not enough. I probably need a few more. So now I did say that was the last of the commons. This guy was errated. He is an uncommon. Coming in for the first uncommon of the set, we have Wolverine. He's got traded regen and regen as free, but only if he has used the X-Men team ability this turn. Kind of whatever, I guess. 60 points, charge blades, toughness, and power. Again, just nothing crazy there. Kind of just like a healing battery for the X-Men team ability, right? And then if he, you know, messes up and misses the roll and takes the damage himself, he just free regens it back. So not too bad if you have some type of crazy healing strategy for X-Men teams. Next up, we have Wolvie. So this cute little Wolverine guy. Whenever he's KO'd, you can roll a d6 on a 4 through 6. Instead of removing him, you can place him adjacent to another friendly character. He's still scored, though, so your opponent can keep getting that 30 points pretty easily because he's only got 15 toughness with 3 clicks of health. But yeah, Charge Blades is great. He's tiny, so you would be able to carry him, except he's got Battle Fury, so that kind of sucks to see top dial. That means you actually can't carry him around. So, you know, I don't know. He kind of just feels like he's giving your opponent a lot of points because he's going to keep getting KO'd quickly over and over. So yeah, moving on. Next up, we have James Howlett, who is our first character with the Wolverine squad in this set. That says, when this character rolls a 5 or 6 on a single d6 roll after resolutions, you may heal a friendly character with a Wolverine squad trait 1 click. So we see a lot of these effects later on in the chases, and it's pretty ridiculous when you get to some of those characters that have like stop clicks and stuff. And they have like senses, imperv, leadership, willpower, all kinds of single d6 roll effects that with anyone, it's not once per turn, and it's not only on your turn, it's just whenever they roll a 5 or 6, you know, you get to heal one of these characters with this trait a click. So it's pretty crazy. But yeah, shape change, perplex on a special damage power, just some stealth blades, combat reflexes, 40 points. Nothing too crazy there, actually. I kind of just wish he started with the charge, but it is what it is. The Wolverine squad trait is nuts, but mainly on the later characters. Next up, we have Morph. He's actually a pretty awesome figure. He does have team player, team ability, traded toughness and shape change that succeeds on a 4 through 6. When he succeeds on his shape change, he can use an opposing team ability, so that's pretty awesome, in addition to, you know, copying one of your own team abilities. 75 or 40 points. You know, you got charge super strength prob, or you just got sidestep precision prob, and you know, that's with that super sense shape change combo and toughness. So I mean, he's got a lot going on at either point value, and when he does take some damage, you know, he gets some perplex, he's got some regen to heal himself up. I think overall this is a pretty powerful uncommon as well. Really, really good in sealed, and I think he's got some potential in pulp as well. You know, he's not too bad at either point value. Next up is Outlaw, who has the quick draw trait that we'll see on a few more figures in this set, as well as apparently some figures in the Masters of Time set, which is cool. But whenever she hits with a range attack, if it was the first action of your turn, remove the action token from her. So if you keep hitting with her the first attack of your turn, she'll never have an action token on her. So that's pretty neat. And then she has a Hot Shots trait that is free, remove a Hot Shots token, and this turn that character has knockback, and characters in knockback can't reduce knockback damage. That's actually really cool. But she can also move through blocking and shoot while adjacent, which is really nice as well, because she does have super strength and empower. So she kind of wants to be next to, you know, your opposing characters, or at least your friendly characters that are also next to opposing characters. So yeah, 65 points, not too bad at all. And yeah, I don't know, I like her. I think she's a pretty good attacker for the points, considering she can move through blocking and shoot adjacent and remove her token and all that cool stuff. So next up we have another Hot Shots traded character, White Fox, who's got Mystics, and she gives all the Hot Shots free. Remove a Hot Shots token from this character. If you do, until your next turn, when opposing character attacks this character and misses, after resolutions, deal them a penetrating damage. So it's basically Mystics on a miss instead of a hit, which is really good with her, because she's got like shape change super senses. Now shape change will make them attack somebody else, but super senses will make it be a miss. So if they hit her, they take Mystics. If they miss her with senses or just miss her 18 defense, they'll take Mystics essentially. Nine-tailed Fox, charge, plasticity, not bad at all with the blades. 45 points. I like her a lot. She's really good for sealed. I did actually use her in sealed, and she was really good. So I think Hot Shots have some potential in pulp, just because of how many there are in the commons and uncommons, and all those different effects you can stack up together is pretty neat. Mystique is also really, really good for an uncommon. She's got stealth, and opposing characters within range can't use the X-Men team ability. Just kind of whatever, nobody really uses that team ability much anymore anyway. But then you have free, choose a character within range and line of fire, choose a standard attack or damage power they can use, and then Mystique can use the chosen power until your next turn. If the chosen character is an opposing character with the X-Men keyword, she may choose a second standard attack or damage power they can use until your next turn. So one thing to note there is there's a lot of X-Men going around right now. I mean, we got besides like sealed and pulp for like this set, in actual modern competitive play, you know, you got like the Genesis and APOC. You know, Genesis gives Brute, Monster, and Warrior the Araco keyword, and then APOC gives the Araco keyword the X-Men keyword. So if they've got that combo going on, their entire team has X-Men, so she can choose two characters from like their whole team if you're playing against them, which is really neat. Or just an actual like X-Men theme team she can choose two powers against. But yeah, so she's got a lot of great options there. Improved movement characters. She's already got sidestep, 11 attack, combat reflexes, shape change, that traded stealth for 30 points, and she's got like 5 clicks of health. She's pretty freaking nuts, I gotta say. Brotherhood TA on top of it all. Yeah, I really like her a lot for the points. Next up, we've got Boom Boom. And she has this awesome energy explosion special that also destroys all the terrain markers that are in or adjacent to an original target square. So that's awesome. I do wish she started with running shot though. 4 range double target, sees through hindering, 11 attack, you got some enhancement. For 45 points, she's not bad at all, but she would be amazing if she started with the running shot. Again, you can always just equip her with a motorcycle. Come to think of it, you know, I have said, I did say at the beginning, we're talking a lot about pulp stuff here, and I have said about a few characters that equipping them with a motorcycle would be neat. Don't forget that you can't use equipment in pulp. I should mention that. So like I said, this wasn't entirely about pulp, but that was kind of going to be my focus, but I kind of forgot about the fact that you can't use equipment in pulp for a second. So sorry about that. Don't use equipment if you're in pulp, but otherwise it makes them a lot better outside of pulp. So that's kind of all I'm commenting on when I say that. But then we have Stryfe, and he's coming in at 125 or 50 points, so he's the biggest character we've seen yet. He's got leadership and mastermind traded, and a unique modifier that friendly bystanders modify attack +1 and can use plasticity. So if you're playing a team with a bunch of bystanders, that's really, really good. On his damage power, he's got Shape Change and Outwit, and friendly characters with no action tokens have Safeguard, opposing probability control. Not too bad. Just Running Shot, Penetrating Blast, Invincible for 4 damage. And then later on, for 50 points, he's a lot more of a supporting character because he's got like TK with the Outwit and the leadership and everything. So yeah, I think he fills 2 roles. You either got him as a main attacker or as kind of a secondary attacker supporting character. Not too bad at all. Next up is Jubilee. Now, I've always liked Jubilee as a character. She's pretty cool. You got Running Shot with a 5 range, Energy Explosion. You got some enhancement for 50 points. Or I really like her a lot for just 25 points. You got 3 clicks there of Sidestep, Pulse Wave, Barrier, and Perplex. I feel like she's also kind of one of those like budget Scott Porter type figures. Like she's doing a lot for 25 points, especially in Pulp. Like, you know, regular Modern, of course, not so much. But for Pulp or something, Barrier and Perplex for 25 points is pretty great. And then, you know, you got Sidestep, Pulse Wave, so she can actually be making attacks. So yeah, I like her at both point values. She's pretty good. Next up, we've got X23, and she's got a family bonding trait that we'll see on the next couple figures as well. So whenever she KOs an opposing character of 30 points or less after resolutions, a friendly character with a family bonding trait may make an attack. So that's either her, if you know she's the only one, or any of your other ones. And then you also have super senses, and at the beginning of your turn, you may heal her a click. She only has that on the back half of her dial. So 75 or 50 points. You know, 75, she starts off with that nice 12 attack Blades exploit. But for 50, she's only got a 10 attack, which, like I said earlier, there's so many 12 attacks in the set, it really makes that stand out as being not so great. And you really want her to be KOing stuff to get the free attacks. So I feel like you kind of got to play her at 75. But that's kind of a lot of points. I don't know. She's okay. And then we have Scout, who has the family bonding trait where when a friendly bystander hits after resolutions, a character with the family bonding trait may make an attack. And she makes bystanders. She has once per game at the beginning of her turn, she may generate a Jonathan bystander. That doesn't have to be the beginning of your first turn. Don't forget that. You can move her up in there first. And then, you know, assuming she doesn't get instantly KO'd, just make it on your next turn. 75 or 50, I kind of actually like this one better at 50. You know, the flurry's cool, but she really needs charge to make use of that. And the Jonathan bystander actually has charge, blades, exploit, tiny size. You know, for a bystander, having only 10 attack is not really that bad. But yeah, so if that thing runs up there and hits something, then she gets a free attack. You can basically just free move up on somebody, next turn make the bystander, hope it hits, and then get a free attack on them with her. All right, next up we have Daken, who has another family bonding trait that when he hits an opposing character with the X-Men keyword, after resolutions, a family bonding trait character may make an attack. So, again, lots of X-Men going around right now. At the beginning of your turn, if Daken has no action tokens, you may heal him 2 clicks. Kind of just feels like a better version of Laura of X23. So for 75 or 50, he doesn't have anything special going on, which, you know, I don't think any of them did. So kind of nice to pair them with Iceman, I guess, for the +1 attack. But yeah, charge, 12 attack, precision, and exploit's pretty good. But you could definitely play him at 50 for, you know, just a 10 attack, kind of meh. If you're playing all of them at 50, I'd probably want to play him with Iceman just to get the +1s, because the 10 attacks, well, except for Gabby has an 11, but 10 attacks is not great. But moving right along, we have Bob, Agent of Hydra, and he gives all friendly characters within range with the Deadpool Corpse keyword or Hydra keyword the Hydra team ability. I kind of hope if they have Hydra keyword, they already have the team ability, but hey, for 30 points, he just gives it out to everybody. That's great. Probability control, but only if an opposing character is within range and line of fire. So you just gotta move him up and keep him within range and line of fire of an opposing character so he can prob stuff. Not too bad. I mean, sidestep, 10 attack, energy explosion, with 5 clicks of health for 30 points is not bad, especially with the Hydra TA prob, giving everybody else the Hydra TA with certain keywords. He's really, really good for an uncommon, I'd say. He could definitely see play on the right kind of teams for sure. Next up, we've got the uncommon Deadpool. He's kind of keeping the theme of, you know, lackluster Deadpools for this set for me. He does have, you know, team player, team ability. He's got this really cool power on the back half of his dial with Blades, Claws, Fangs. When he uses it after resolutions, heal him equal to half the result. So if you roll high on Blades, he can heal a couple clicks, kind of get like a regen Blades combo. But that's like, it. That's like all he does. He doesn't have any actual regen or steal energy or any other way to heal up. His top dial, 4 range with sidestep, precision, range, combat expert. So he's shooting 12 for 3 with precision. Isn't horrible for 50 points, but only having a 5 movement sidestep is kind of sucks. And he has an 18 defense, but no defense power. Just feels really weird. Like, I really feel like there should have been something there, some, I don't know, energy shields, super senses, toughness, something. I don't know, 50 points, he's not horrible. I actually kind of like him a little bit better than the common, I think. The sculpt is better for sure, but like I said, kind of just feels like he could be better, definitely. And last up for the uncommons, we have Kid Omega, who has the Magneto was right trait, where friendly characters with the X-Men keyword have the Brotherhood team ability, and friendly characters with the Brotherhood team ability instead succeed on a 9 through 12 when using it. So just as a quick refresher, Brotherhood TA is when they hit with an attack of 10 through 12 after resolutions remove their action token. So he gives it to everybody with X-Men, and then they all use it on a 9 through 12, which is pretty great for 50 points. He also has Energy Explosion, TK, and Knockback on his special attack power with a 12 attack and a 5 range double target with Mind Control, Barrier, Outwit, Improved Targeting, Hindering. This guy's nuts. He does a lot for 50 points. He's got great stats and powers, and he can't take a hit very well, is probably his only downside, but he's doing a lot for your team. And then late dial, he got that dreaded knockback Pulse Wave. Force Blast Pulse Wave is a very slept on combo because they can't reduce the damage from the knockback because of the Pulse Wave is still in effect. So yeah, he's really, really strong overall. Moving right along, next up, for the rares, starting us off, and she is a rare. Psylocke does have a super rare tab, but she was errated. It's rare. She's the first of the rares. She's definitely a rare. So yeah, she's got Stealth, Mind Control as free, but only to target an adjacent character. As a trait, that's pretty nuts. You can just run up somebody full move and then free Mind Control them. And that's for 75 or 40 points. I like her a lot at both point values. But then she has this special attack power, which is Blade's Claw's Fangs. When she uses it, after resolutions, she may use an effect depending on the D6 result. So on a 1, she gets another close attack. On a 2, you give a hit target an action token. On a 3, choose a standard power. The hit target can't use that power until your next turn. That's amazing because it doesn't matter if they're like protected outwit or whatever, you can just shut off one of their powers. On a 4, the hit target can't use team abilities, which you can just shut off like Power Cosmic, so then you can outwit them. On a 5, you can heal her 3 clicks. And on a 6, if she KO'd a character this turn, remove an action token from her. So, not too bad at all. Depending on what you roll, it could be super helpful in the moment or, not really do much. But I like her a lot. Like I said, either point value is really strong. She's just got really good stats and powers, and I think we could see her in Pulp for sure. I will say, I think all the rares in this set are actually pretty great. But Sheriff Deadpool, he's got PD, team ability, and team player. 75 points, sounds like a lot, but he actually does so much. With the quick draw, he can remove his action tokens if he shoots first. He's got improved targeting, hindering. He's got traded penetrating blast, and once per turn, when he hits with a range attack after resolutions, he may make a range attack using incapacitate. So he can, shoot a bunch of people with energy explosion, penetrating blast, 6 range double target, and deal a bunch of damage, and then he can make a free attack with incap on 2 targets. 4 damage with prob, so you can also just, 4 damage penetrating blast somebody. He's got super senses, and then later he's got some regen to heal up. This is definitely the best Deadpool of the set so far. And he's just kind of a jokey, Sheriff Deadpool. I don't know why the regular Deadpools just cannot be on that level, but he is so good. Then we have Forge with the X-Men and the S.H.I.E.L.D. team abilities. Only 35 points. He's got Perplex and Support, and when an adjacent multi-base character or an adjacent character with the robot or vehicle keyword is given a move or power action, after resolutions you can place him adjacent to that character, which is pretty great. So then he can kind of, just be dragged around with him. He can attack from there. He only has a 10 attack in cap, nothing too crazy, 4 range, or he can just like support them or, whatever. He can kind of just enhance them with the S.H.I.E.L.D. and X-Men TAs. So he's just kind of a really good supporting figure to be dragged around by like a robot, a vehicle, or a multi-base character. And I think he does his job pretty well at that. But next up we have Sabretooth, who for 75 points has a really long 9-click dial. He's got regen at the end and also at the beginning of your turn, heal him a click, so lots of healing. He's got free make an attack against an opposing character that's been healed, charge, flurry, leap, climb, blades, battle fury, 4 damage, 12 attack. So his blades are going to be at least a 3 damage, or you could just hit for the 4 with the flurry. Yeah, I mean, he's pretty basic, but he's a pretty big... So he's pretty basic, but he's a pretty big threat if you don't... So he is pretty basic, but he's a pretty big threat if you just kind of... You can't really ignore him, right? He's going to come up on you and flurry blades you for a lot of damage, and you can't just ping him for a few damage here and there. He's just going to keep healing it right back. You have to really commit to, like, taking him down, because otherwise he is a pretty big threat. So I like him a lot. So yeah, Sabretooth, great and sealed. Maybe not too bad in pulp either. We'll have to see. 75 still seems like a lot, but like I said, he's pretty hard to put down for sure. Next up, though, we have Rogue. And she has this cool trait with knockback, that characters knocked back by Rogue can't reduce damage this turn. So that's pretty awesome. So she can punch them. They would reduce damage from like the original attack, but then once they're dealt the knockback, they can't reduce damage from that. So that's pretty awesome. And then, you know, you can have somebody else come up and just finish them off because they can't reduce anything. But yeah, she's got great stats and powers here with the hypersonic 12 attack, 4 damage, close combat expert. So she's punching 13 for 5 on her own. I think she's a super duper strong rare figure. I think she definitely sees pulp play for sure. I mean, how could you not? You're dealing 5 damage plus a knockback, and then they can't reduce anything after she knocks them back. That's just nuts. My only gripe there is I wish she had traded Steel Energy as well, because, I mean, it's Rogue. But next up, we have the Prime Rogue. She has Stealth and Super Strength. Again, Primes can't be played in pulp, so forget about that, but she is absolutely ridiculous. Whenever she hits, the hit character can't use displayed powers until your next turn, so they have no displayed powers for the rest of your turn, their turn. It's super ridiculous. And then it also unequips any equipment, and when she hits, you can choose a standard power printed on their card, and she can use the power this game. So she gets whatever power you choose for the rest of the game. You know, she gets, like, you can give her super senses, you can give her energy shield, combat reflexes, shape change, you know, prob control, outwit, like any good power they randomly have, you can just take it for yourself, and that's so good. Steel Energy as well. I mean, she does have it on the stop clicks, which is nice, but having it her whole dial would be pretty nuts. Yeah, improved movement, destroys blocking. You got flight with 10 movement hypersonic, 12 attack precision, 19 impervious, 5 damage perplex. Just absolutely ridiculous stats. And 3 stop clicks, because that defense power is a stop click with invincible, and when it's revealed after resolutions, remove action tokens from her. Yeah, just crazy. And she's definitely worth the 250 points for sure. She wrecks everything in sealed. If you pull her, it's practically automatic win. You know, either playing her at 250 or 175, she's really strong either way. Unfortunately, just being 250 points means she's really hard to pull off if you're trying to play her like competitively, but she definitely still has some potential for sure. I mean, how could she not? She just turns off everything on hit, and she's just so hard to deal with all the stops, and once she gets rolling, stealing all the powers, she gets just to be insane. All right, but next up for the regular rares again, we have Atlas Bear, who has another Hotshots trait, and she gives all your friendly Hotshots when this character would be KO'd if they have any Hotshots tokens. Instead, remove all their Hotshots tokens and turn them to their last non-KO click, protected Pulse Wave. So yeah, that's super ridiculous. She basically gives all of your characters a get out of jail free card, saving them once. And if they don't follow up and finish them off that turn, you know, on your next turn, they could hit, get another Hotshots token, and boom. They just have to deal with that all over again. 70 or 50 has pretty great stats and powers either way. Her special powers here on her movement, she has Sidestep, Flight, Passenger 5, but only to carry characters that share a keyword with her. And then she has Giant Reach 3, Blades, and Prob Control on her attack power, which she has her whole dial. Yeah, that Passenger 5 trait is nuts. You know, he got some Outwit, and just a really, really strong Hotshots trait. So, and a great sculpt on this thing too. The spinning chain or whatever is super cool. So yeah, very, very strong figure. Another very strong one I like a lot here is Shatterstar, who has Flurry, Sidestep. When Shatterstar uses Flurry before making the second attack, you may place him up to 4 squares away from his current square. And when he attacks one or more characters he hasn't attacked this turn, modify his attack +1. So you know, that's only going to be on somebody he hasn't attacked. So if he targets the same person twice with Flurry, he won't get the +1 attack on the second attack. It's only for the first one. But I mean, still, you got that triple target for that Flurry. You've got improved movement for elevated blocking and characters, full dial blades exploit. He's pretty nuts at either 65 or 40 points. I think he has massive damage potential. Kind of want to play him at the 40 just because, you know, just because to save points, really. Again, if we're not talking about Pope, I want to give him a motorcycle for charge, because charge Flurry and then placing him 4 squares for the second attack gets him insane amounts of reach. So yeah, really, really strong attacker again. And then moving on to Beast, one of the best support characters we have here, one of the best outwitters in the game right now. Toughness and combat reflexes on his defense. Only 30 points. He's got Outwit, and when he uses it, he can instead choose 3 standard powers protected Outwit. So it's really good, you know, really versatile if you just want to outwit a special power that's granting a bunch of stuff, or 3 separate powers. Really, really strong, and he just leap climbs up there into position. If somebody does run up on him, he's pretty well defended with 18 combat reflexes, toughness, you know, not too bad at all. And he's got blades to fight back too, so I like him a lot. He's definitely going to see play for sure. And then we have Lady Deathstrike, who has the target trait. So I'm surprised we don't see more of that in this set already. But of course, if you don't already know, at the beginning of the game, for all friendly characters with this trait, you give somebody a target token. And then when if one of your assassin keyword characters KOs a target, you get an extra 25 points. So not bad at all. For 45 points, she's got close combat expert, blades, invuln, and a special movement power, which is charge, but don't half speed if an opposing character is KO'd this turn. You know, not bad if you could get up there and KO something first. But then she has traded combat reflexes, and when she's KO'd, you can choose a friendly character with a robot keyword. And this game, that character gains the assassin keyword and can use the traits on this card, Protected Pulse Wave. So it means you give a robot combat reflexes and the target trait, which is pretty nice. I can't think of anything off the top of my head that makes that super broken right now. I haven't really thought that much about it, but I'm sure there's probably a cool combo you could come up with for that. But moving on next, we have Pandapool. Panda. So he starts with a trait that he can't be given a costed action if he already has an action token. That's a huge downside, unfortunately. But when he clears action tokens, you can heal him 3 clicks if he's within 2 squares of any plant terrain markers. And he also has, at the beginning of the game, generate 3 plant terrain markers anywhere on the map. And of course, it has the whole thing where it's gives you +2 instead of +1 for range attacks. And also from the characters with the animal keyword within 2 squares of 1 or more plant terrain markers, modify attack and damage +1. And he's got that charge flurry special movement power. So yeah, I mean, for 60 points, he's got super strength, invuln, charge flurry. If he is within, you know, 2 squares of 1 or more plant terrain markers, he gets that +1 attack and damage, which is really good for his charge flurry. So he'll be a 12 attack, 5 damage, which I think is really why he can't be given more than 1 costed action. And then if he takes a hit, he clears and heals 3 clicks. So, you know, not bad at all. Moving on, next we have Colossus, who has, for 100 points, he's pretty hefty there. But Colossus and adjacent friendly characters that share a keyword with him can reduce penetrating damage and can't have their combat values modified by opposing effects. Pretty great. Defend, invulnerability, protected outwit, and protected pulse wave is super good, so you can invuln straight through a pulse wave. You know, it can't be outwitted, all that cool stuff. And he can reduce penetrating, so it's kind of like invincible, basically. But yeah, charge, super strength with a 12 attack, 4 damage with empower, 19 with that defend. Improved movement destroys blocking, you know. And he's got a pretty long 7-click dial there. So he's a beast. It's going to take some good hits to get through him, and he's going to be, you know, defending up all your allies. So he's pretty great. I like him a lot. All right, now I don't have his Prime version currently at the moment, but I'll put him on screen for you. He is also super ridiculous. Both of the Prime rares in this set are absolutely insane. So he's only 80 or 60 points. He has the Power Cosmic Team ability, so he can't be outwitted, and he has willpower. He's got traded mind control, and after resolutions, he deals a hit character damage equal to his printed damage value, which is nuts because he's got 5 at 80 points. I think you definitely play this guy at 80. The 60-point line, not bad, but definitely not as good. Only a 3 damage, 18 defense. Whereas for the extra 20 points, you get 4 more clicks of health with a 20 defense and a 5 damage, 12 movement, 12 attack, you know, charge super strength, busting through blocking terrain, battle fury. Opposing characters can't use safeguard mind control, including from battle fury. The impervious that can reduce penetrating damage for his entire 9-click dial. Yeah, this guy's absolutely insane. He's really hard to take down. He's hard to hit in the first place. He's hard to stick the damage to because can't outwit him, can't penetrating blast him. So yeah, pretty nuts. And then he's just mind controlling you, and then, you know, so you're hurting your own teammates, and then you're taking 5 damage from him. So stay away from him. He's really, really ridiculously strong right now. I didn't think they could make another 80-point Prime as ridiculously overpowered as the Prime Spider-Man, but they found a way. Rare Primes are just so good nowadays. So next up here, we have Cyclops, who has support as free, but only to target a character with the robot or vehicle keyword, and when he uses support as free, they can get energy shield deflection until your next turn. They don't actually have to heal, you can just target them with support as free, so they have energy shield, that's pretty great. Sidestep Force Blast, again, if we're not talking about Pulp, I want to give him a motorcycle for running shot, because he can shoot through blocking, which, you know, now that I think about it, there's a lot of characters just in the commons, uncommons, and rares that can shoot through blocking. He's at least the 3rd or 4th one that can shoot through it, and there's a couple that can move through it as well. So there's not a lot of blocking that's going to get in your way with this set. But yeah, full dial penetrating blast, toughness, and leadership. Just got some regular force blast at the end, and he's got a stop click, which is really cool. Taking off the glasses. Stop when this power is first revealed. After resolutions, choose a direct line of fire away from Cyclops that can't be blocked to the edge of the map. Destroy all blocking terrain along that line of fire, then deal 2 penetrating damage to all characters along that line of fire, then KO Cyclops. Unfortunately, he has to be KO'd by that stop click. But, you know, if you position him right, he can just shoot a laser beam through the entire map and hit a bunch of people for 2 penetrating, hopefully. Next up, though, we have Jean Grey, who has mind control. When she uses it, she may target all opposing characters within her range. If she does, deal her 2 unavoidable. Not bad. 10 attack kind of sucks for that, but 5 range, so she can target, you know, infinite number of characters within 5 range. If you bump up her range with like Shield TA or Perplex or something, you know, potentially 8 range, targeting infinite characters, Perplex her attack up a couple times and go to town, you know, mind controlling their whole team would be pretty nuts. Then she's got TK. If she uses TK to place a friendly character this turn, she may be given a ranged terrain action as free. So she can basically choose any terrain within her range and line of fire and make an attack as if she was holding that to throw it at somebody, which is pretty neat. She can make range attacks while adjacent. So that's also really good. Yeah, sidestep, flight, barrier, and some enhancement for 50 points. She's doing a lot. She's a really good support character and one of the best mind control pieces right now for sure. Definitely has a lot of potential. Last but not least, for the rares, we have Mimepool, who has, I love the powers here just being like emojis. Power, once per game, choose an equipment on your sideline and equip it to Mimepool. Free equipment, gotta love that, but again, not in Pulp. Barrier, when he uses it, he may generate a single non-standard terrain marker of 0 points instead of any other terrain markers. So you can just pop out some random crazy big like hunk of elevated or make some water or something like that. So that's really cool. He's only 40 points. He's got full dial outwit. And I love the checker pattern here, black and white, because he's a mime. And yeah, just that special defense power there with the barrier is really cool. And just getting free equipment, why not? So yeah, he's really great for 40 points, like him a lot. That's the Kerr stuff. That's all the commons, uncommons, and rares. Again, let me know how you like this format in the comments down below. Let me know your thoughts on all the Kerr pieces in this set. I like most of them. There's a few hit or misses here. The Deadpool stand out to me that could be better. There's a few other pieces that are kind of like, whatever. But there's a lot of really solid stuff in this set. So if you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget to smash that like button. It does help me out a lot. And don't forget to click that subscribe button so you don't miss any future videos. But if you guys would like to help support the channel even more, check the links in the description for the Patreon, where you can see your name here in the credits with all these other awesome people. And for as little as $1 a month, get entered into my monthly giveaway. So check that out if that interests you. But that's going to do it for this one, you guys. Thanks again so much for watching. Till next time, this has been Heroclix Headquarters, signing off.